Hello, Mama friends. This episode of the Mama Gets It Done podcast is all about getting ready for back to school so that it goes as smooth as humanly possible. So, buckle up. We've got some great tips here, and I think you guys are going to really love what's coming up. Are you ready to be more productive in your home and say goodbye to the dreaded mom guilt associated with a messy house and chaotic days? Hey, my name's Rachel, and the Mama Gets It Done podcast is for the everyday mom. Yes, even those hot mess moms who just need a little grace and a few tips for getting more done in your day. If you're ready to figure out how to stop hating cooking every night, how to give chaotic days a little more structure, and how to find more time for you in this crazy mom life, then you are in the right place. Hey, mama friends. Okay, so how do we get ready for back to school? This year, my kids are hopefully going back to school. Um, we can only hope, right? So this year, I have a first grader and a preschooler. My son is going to our like Head Start preschool here where I am because he is behind in his speech a little bit. So he is going to go to our local preschool so that he can get some speech therapy in, all that good stuff. And my daughter is starting first grade. She's very excited. And through all this, um, we have personally been moving. So we've been in a brand new school system, had to go through all kinds of new hoops and jumps and all this stuff. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of what we're doing and what we've done in the past to prepare for this like back to school time. Um, so we're going to just go right into it and start with number one. The first thing I think you really need to do is go and find those non negotiable times that are going to be in your day. When back to school happens, maybe school may be starting and ending at a different time. Or maybe you're going to a new school district like us, or maybe you're starting at a different school, a different age level. Whatever it may be, make sure you know a few really important times in your day so that you know how to start adjusting your schedule. Things like knowing your what time you need to wake up, what time does school start, what time is pickup, what time is any of those practices you have for just those extracurricular activities, any specials, special activities, things that are going on. Make sure you know all those non-negotiable times. These are all things that you cannot control, right? These are things that have to be done, and put those in your schedule daily or weekly or whatever they are. This will give you a really good framework for your days and help you figure out how you can work around them best. Um, from that, I want you to get a calendar and start filling it out. Make sure this is a calendar that your whole family can see. So this can be digital or it can be physical. We personally just use our Apple, the app on our phones, just the Apple Calendars app, and we have a shared calendar between me and my husband. So we always know what's going on everywhere. So as soon as you start getting papers from school and all those notices, go through in your calendar, mark the start day, mark your open house, mark your breaks, mark all those things in your calendar so you know way ahead of time what's going on. Go ahead and mark special activities in here too. It's going to really help you get a peace of mind that you kind of know what's going on already and you can start to get a new flow going, right? So summer's kind of crazy. Everything's up in the air. There's not much like really planned other than maybe summer vacations, at least for us. And we have lots of play dates and fun stuff going on. But like when we get to the fall, we really need to get to like what are these things that are we have to do this non-negotiable things so that we can make the rest of our life flow really well. Um, Make sure in this calendar that you're putting also put like when important forms are due. When do you have to have like those medical forms in? When do you have to have any kind type of things that come home from the school once your kiddo starts? Put in this calendar. Make it so that you know everything that's due on what days and make sure you're checking along the way to see if those change. Those things always seem to change. There always to be seems to be some kind of adjustments being made, so make sure you're adapting to those adjustments as well. One thing that I found that is super helpful for this is having a special folder or in my email or a special like notepad or notepad on my phone that's specifically just for school. I save all the emails that they send. I write down like certain contacts that I need to know, like with due dates, forms, all that stuff. I've got my cheat sheet for your video viewers. This is my cheat sheet here for my kids. Um, for all the new contacts I have and who needs what on what day and what's their emails and what's their phone numbers and all that little stuff that you're just gonna need to know. Um, Especially when you're starting new schools, or new school districts, these things can become really important really fast. And we're dealing with two different schools, so it's like we're dealing with two whole different ball games, basically. Um, but yeah, especially when you're getting emails from the teacher and the school in general, and maybe like special extra activities, and you're getting emails from all these different places, having them all go to one central folder is really, really helpful so that you keep all that stuff where you can see it and it doesn't get lost in your inbox. Because a lot of that important information these days is getting communicated through email. Make sure you're checking your kid's backpack too, and maybe you have a physical folder as well for what you need. If you want, you can also like take pictures with the scannable app, is what I use. It turns it into like almost like a scanned document, like a PDF. If you're a person who just likes everything digital, you can use that scannable app and put everything into a folder on your computer so that you can keep up with that way. It's completely up to you. Um, but that's a way to do it digitally if you're not like a physical person. I totally understand it. Okay. Another thing that we can do to help like make this school year, the start of the school year a little smoother is to meal plan a bit further ahead than usual. So, this is only a step I would do after you figured out your non-negotiable times and your calendar. Because if you know me, you know there's a rule that you always meal plan around your schedule and around your calendar because otherwise you're going to end up having a meal that's like needs like an hour cook time and you only have 20 to 30 minutes and inevitably you're going to have to go out to eat. So, in order to get around that, we meal plan around our schedule. So, I suggest you meal plan a bit further out. I mean, a month is great. If you're doing freezer meal prep, you're already doing a month. I'm a big fan of freezer meal prep. We will definitely have a podcast episode on that later. If you haven't seen my freezer meal prep stuff, definitely go check out thiscraftyhome.com. I'll mark it in the show notes, but freezer meal prep is my jam over there. And we talk about it all the time. So, meal planning out further ahead, just so the first few weeks of school usually is really crazy. You're getting used to a new schedule and all these things. There's all kinds of new things going on every single day, right? So, to make it a little bit easier on yourself, I would take that meal planning portion off your plate ahead of time and really try and get that set for a little bit as much as you can. This is not usually something I suggest, but I think for this situation, it is acceptable. Now, obviously, like if when you're freezer meal prepping, you do pretty much meal plan a month ahead of time, but you can change it based on like your schedule and stuff, what meals you're going to have what night. But I'm usually not a fan of meal prepping super ahead because you don't know what your schedule is going to be. However, if you've taken the legwork and you've done these things, like you should be able to get this done pretty efficiently. Um, this is definitely a time where freezer meals shine. This is definitely a time where meal prep shines too. So we'll definitely be talking about that more a little bit more later, but definitely look into those things if you haven't yet, because they can be total game changers. Let me tell you. All right. Next tip is going to be before school starts, take inventory of their clothes. Get an idea of like how many shorts you got, how many shirts you got. Are they long sleeved? Are they long pants? What about socks and underwear too? Because I don't know about you, but inevitably I find that once I get into like, oh, we need new like clothes every day because we're a little lazy in the summer, right? If your shirt isn't dirty from the day before, yeah, wear it the next day, whatever. But at school, we're a little more like, okay, we got to look nicer, got to like actually go to school with a good, like, mindset if we're going to like get things done. And being like nice and dressed for school is part of like that mindset thing for me and my kids, anyways, that I like to do. Um, so yeah, we're not gonna wear the same t-shirt to school 2 days in a row, probably. Um, so definitely take inventory. I want you to really look at everything that they have, and if you have enough time in between when you do laundry for them to actually have enough clothes. Because inevitably at school they get sweaty and dirty. They play outside, they do whatever. Or maybe you have older kids and they have art classes and they have, just or they're really conscious about what they're wearing every day, as they get older. Just make sure you're really looking at that and see like where are the holes. We're not just going to go out and buy random things. We're not just going to go out and do a big shopping spree unless you really want to. I mean, if it's in the budget, go for it, girl. But something I really encourage is to just fill in the gaps of what you need. So, like my son, I know for sure needs pants because he only has one pair of pants that actually fit him. Now, I'm talking like long pants. He's got some shorts, but he has one pair of long pants, but he doesn't really like long pants that much. We haven't worn them that much, but I know he's going to end up needing them at school, like especially as it gets cooler. So, that's something we have to go get. On the other hand, he's really good with long sleeve shirts, so I'm not going to be buying any of those. So really like hone in on the things that you actually need and not just buy willy-nilly like what your kid wants, because inevitably you're going to start running out of socks or running out of underwear or not enough shirts or something's going to happen. And that's going to just add extra stress to those first few weeks of school that you absolutely do not need. Let's be honest here, folks. Okay. Next tip is going to be really examine your mornings because mornings with school is a really crucial part of the day. So think about like a morning routine beforehand. Think about what obstacles you can take away to make your morning better. This is something that we talk about a ton in the free Busy Mama daily schedule reset. If you want to grab it, the link to it's in the show notes. But we talk about taking away obstacles to make our days better. And that is something that you can definitely do specifically for your mornings for back to school that is going to make your entire day better. So, a few things just for mornings that we could do to make our make the day flow a little better is maybe we have prepped ahead lunches and breakfasts, so that's not something we're stressing. So if you're a packing lunch family, we pack lunch because of food allergies and dietary restrictions. So if you have to pack lunch, like try and prep it a week or a month at a time to a point. Um, and then same with breakfast. If you can prep it a week or a month at a time, good weekly breakfasts. If you make a big batch of something that can last for the whole week, I really like baked oatmeal for that. If you need an idea right on here on the fly, baked oatmeal is like my favorite weekly breakfast thing to make. My kids really love it too. It tastes like a treat, but it's actually pretty healthy. Um, but yeah, prepping those things ahead of time, picking out clothes ahead of time. You don't have to do like a week at a time. At least do it at night, and that'll get you through. And then setting things like keys and wallets and like any papers you need for the next day to go back to school in a particular place at night before will just make things go way smoother the next day. Can you tell I've ran around my house looking for keys? I don't know how many times and my wallet. At this point, everything has air tags. So if y'all are in the Apple like universe, if you have an iPhone and stuff, definitely look into those air tags. I've had other like tag things like a tile before, and I very much prefer these air tags to everything else. So that's a random tip shoved into all these other tips. If you haven't, I can always find my wallet now in less than 30 seconds, and it's really nice because I lose it all the time. All right, so now moving on to our next tip, especially with little ones. Make sure you really talk through what this change in their like schedule is going to be like, especially in the mornings, because if they aren't if they don't know what to expect, they're going to be really thrown off by you being all like, okay, we got to do this and we got to do this and we got to do that. And then we got to go, 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 go so we can get to school on time. Okay. And we don't want to panic them because we're already stressed out enough in the mornings, and they will pick up on that if you're stressed out in the morning. So definitely try and follow those tips on like taking away those obstacles. Go grab that freebie. But really talk through with them what this change means, what their days are going to look like. If you don't really know about like what their days are going to look like at school, maybe you can ask their teacher, and to really prep them and get them like mentally ready for all the new things that's going to happen. But this part I think is really crucial to get your kids on board with all the adjustments that you're going to make, because you can make all the adjustments you want, but if you don't get your kids on board and get them ready for them, you're going to be pushing them through the whole way, and it's going to be extra for you. We're going through the same thing as last week. It's going to be extra physical, mental, and emotional energy first thing in the morning usually, and it's stressful for everyone. So definitely talking through this big change that's going to happen and prepping them ahead of time is well worth your while. If if you have a very little one who hasn't been to school at all yet, watching some videos, like I'm sure there's some like Daniel Tiger videos out there, or like books out there that kind of talk about like your day at school and what's going to happen, what's going on. Like those can be really, really helpful for the little ones, because it helps them kind of visualize what's going to happen instead of just talking about it. Because I know I can talk to him blue in the face to my 3-year-old, but he is not going to get this. So we're definitely picking up videos and books for this to kind of explain to him like what he's going to do every day. He's got a little bit of it because he's been to a home sitter before, but he hasn't been to an actual like daycare before, because he was not a he was born the year before ish COVID, so, or a year and a half before COVID. So by the time I was ready to put him in daycare, we could not. So this is his first foray into that. So it's going to be different for him for sure. It's going to be a big adjustment for all of us. All right. And the last tip for back to school is going to be see how that first week goes, assess it, and then make changes. So give yourself about a week to see if is this now obviously if there's a big red flag of like this isn't working for us, just cut it off. That's fine. But see about the plan that you've made out. Give it about a week. See if it's working, and if it's not, change it. Don't keep forcing through things and trying to make like the ideal situation work if it's just not going to work for you in the end, because that will just drive you crazy, right? So things like morning routines, like if you cannot get your morning routine to work, change it. Don't keep trying to do it the way you think it's supposed to go. Like just get a little creative and tweak things. Right now, I figured out that with our morning routine, at one point, I was letting my daughter would eat breakfast before she got dressed because she was pretty hungry when she woke up, right? So she would eat breakfast, and then she would get dressed, and then we'd finish off and just get together everything else and like get to school as fast as we could. We were rushing every single day to get her dressed and brush her hair. It was insanity. So one day I said, okay, girl, no, we're switching this up. You have to get dressed before you eat your breakfast. And don't you know, everything seemed to just like actually even out. I had really good reasons for not wanting her to get dressed before she ate her breakfast, especially as a kindergartner. I wanted to be able to make sure she didn't get her dress all dirty, and I wanted to make sure like we actually like I thought anyways this would help me have time to be able to do things the way I wanted to do them. Well, this ended up taking a lot more time because she kind of dilly-dallied on eating her food, and in the end we had to rush to do the clothes. So instead, she like actually did her clothes in a decent amount of time, and I wasn't yelling the whole time like, come on, come on, come on, we gotta go, we gotta go. And instead she got her clothes on, and then she ate breakfast, and if she needed a little more time, she ate breakfast on the way to school. Like that was a completely cool adjustment for us, and it made it way our stress level in our mornings went from like a 10 to like 6 just because of that one small tweak. You will find the one small tweak that makes your mornings go better. You just take some practice and you just have to make sure you are sitting it down and assessing, like, okay, what's working here and what's not working here for me and my family. Because maybe that doesn't work for yours. Maybe your kid really does get food all over them and they just cannot get dressed before. That is okay. We want to make these changes for your family, not what works for my family, right? All right, friends, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Mama Gets It Done podcast. Make sure to subscribe and leave a review for the podcast. Thank you so much to all of you who have left reviews already. I know I said it last week, but I mean, seriously, you make my day. And I'm so excited that so many of you are loving it because I'm loving it as well. And make sure to give yourself a lot of coffee and a little bit of grace this week. Bye, friends.